Hello. Welcome to the weekly Amagentz podcast show. I hope we catch you doing well at this point. Welcome to my fellow presenters, Captain P and Joe. Gentlemen, how are you doing? How is everything?
What up, man? Good, man. Good to see you. Good to catch up again. How's everything going?
Everything is good. Everything's good. Unfortunately, last week we couldn't make it to the show due to some unforeseen circumstances. But we're back. We're here to knock out a few things. I don't know. Let's start with sport. Huh? How are you guys feeling this weekend? How was?
I see.
That's why he's energetic. That's why he wanted to host. You make it seem like he won the match. It was just a draw, man. 4-4. But look at that big smile on your face.
No, but I didn't even watch the match, to be honest. I didn't even watch the match. I just watched the goals. Well, it is a good result when you draw with Manchester City, bro. Those guys are knocking teams left, right, and center, bro. So yeah, it's a good result. I feel the actual fact that we went toe to toe with them in terms of goals, that's a very good result. I feel. I hope it means that our team is slowly but surely beginning to get used to each other and start to gel. Yeah.
It was a good result. I watched the highlights of the game. Couldn't wake up at 2:30 on a Sunday. I was a bit tired.
There was no motivation for you.
There was no motivation. My team had won the previous evening. That was the one which I stayed up late for. But yeah, man, look, as I said, that Chelsea team, a few more years of experience, they would see out that game. They would actually win that game. Some of the goals Man City scored, a penalty, a deflected goal. But I think, as I've been saying, Chelsea, after spending $1 billion, you'd expect that type of a team now.
Yes. And also, I watched the extended highlights, and Chelsea held out very well in the first half. But, Manchester City, as you know, they are just monsters. They came back so strong. And then, everything was history.
Especially when you have somebody like Haaland. Haaland is determined, bro. His determination is off the charts. Like, he's willing to scrape in. You saw was it the second or
the second one where
he just pushed himself in.
Pushed him with the ball with the goal.
That was just something else.
Look, I think with Pep, I think one of his first best teams was that Barcelona team with Iniesta, Xavi. It was all pretty. He won the Champions League. And I think he's done that with other teams. But if you look at this Man City team, man, these are men. These are real men, you know what I mean? Looking at Rodri, it's all physical, but with the technical ability. There's that, like Bernardo Silva, Jack Grealish, they are the technical, the flair players, your Phil Fodens. But come at the big game, your Rodris, your Hollands, man. Those are big 6 foot, not your typical aesthetic, beautiful playing players. But if you follow football closely, they're men. As I said, that's why I've got a feeling they might do a back-to-back in the Champions League because of how well developed that team is. It's experienced, it's mature, strong. They can bully you, they can pass you out. So, man, yeah.
Can we argue that it's all because of Pep? Is that what we? Who do we have to congratulate in Man City's change of good form over the past few years? I think they've been very, very consistent since maybe in the past 5-6 years.
I think the ownership. Yes, you might say it's an oil state, it's a country state, but the ownership put the right people to do the job. You've got, I don't know how to pronounce it, but he was the former Barcelona guy. What's his name? Chichi Bergstan, and the other CEO, They came from Barcelona, the strong Barcelona team, which Pep was part of. So there's a good, strong backroom, which makes you feel comfortable talking to people who understand your philosophy, how you want to recruit.
So these are a bunch of guys who already know what it means to win.
Yes. Unlike the structure at Man United, where you put a customer liaison person to be your director of football. He doesn't know anything about football. No disrespect. He was a liaison for, bankers and all that stuff. That's your skill, to market and develop businesses. But running a football program is different. So structure plays a whole different level to what's happening with Man City. Of course, Pep is a tactical genius. I think you saw last season he moved John Stones from the defense into the midfield to overload the midfield. That changed the game. All the coaches are trying to do that. I think Arteta tries that with his team, get his left backs to come in. I think even your coach, Poch, is trying to do that with his young defenders. Get into the midfield to overload the midfield and create passing options. So, look, I'm a Ferguson supporter because of the generation I grew up in. But a person who's revolutionized the game, I would say, is Pep Guardiola.
Okay, I want to be a little bit controversial and ask, when you consider, obviously not what they won, what sort of trophies they have in their trophy cabinet, but when you consider Pep to Alex, two different generations, two different styles of play. Who would you say is a better coach?
Pep.
Okay.
Pep is a better tactical coach. Ferguson was a good man manager.
Okay.
Right? I think that's where people get it wrong. Ferguson, he was a CEO type.
Yeah. He was a good CEO.
He's good CEO. He oversaw everything up until what people are eating and all that, to the nitty-gritties. Yeah. But he had a good assistant coaches. Your Carlos Queiroz, your Ren Mulestein, some good coaches who were there who did the day-to-day tasks. Pep is a tactical person. He's on the ground with the players. And then you've got the people I've told you, the backroom sporting directors who now do the overseeing.
Do you think that's mostly because maybe he played the game? Did Sir Alex, did he play football?
He did, but not to the heights of like a Pep. Pep, he played under Johan Cruyff.
Yeah.
So I think some of these things are traits in Pep which have moved on from people who trained him prior. As I said, he was trained under the great Johan Cruyff, who was all about total football.
Yeah.
So Ferguson did have a playing career, but it wasn't as prominent. His coaching career was the most prominent one.
Yeah, so, even back then, I think even football was not as tactical as it is now.
Yeah, look, Ferguson, it was all energy, intensity, overwhelm. You know what I mean? The team. I like Man United. Yes, that's why we complain as Man U fans, and I'm continuing to refer to us because we're just used to that helter-skelter football, just throw everything to it. Keep coming. But with people like Ten Hag, they want to break down the team. Because if you look at Ten Hag, he's the fastest to 50 wins of all Man U managers. If you look at the last 5 games, Man United is actually the most informed Premier League team in the last 5 games. But you wouldn't believe it when we're talking. So it is what it is. But Pep.
Liverpool. Sorry, cutting you off there. Joe, what's your take on Liverpool match?
Liverpool is always on the ball, on the money.
Yeah.
They did one this weekend.
Yeah, 3-0 to Brentford
against Brentford. I watched the highlights of the match. It was just a walk in the park with Salah, scoring 2 scores, piece of cake.
Yeah.
But as usual, it was team effort. It was just there to execute, and no, it's usually, but Brentford is not a team that we were worried about.
Yeah, you never worry about these teams until the last minute. Yeah.
yeah. We I think the match before where we were playing was it Luton?
Yeah, you drew against Luton.
Yeah.
Almost lost actually.
Yeah, it was 1-1 because I think we were we were too comfortable.
Yeah, whenever we talk of Brentford, some of us will look down and just keep quiet. They did a number on us.
Brentford
back to back.
Brentford is like it's always slapping Chelsea.
It's like
they did a good number.
Chelsea, yeah.
They've got your number for the last couple of years. But look, to be honest, Liverpool is the what can I say? It's just moving silently. Everyone is talking about Arsenal, Man City, Tottenham. Liverpool is just winning quietly, and right now it's sitting on number 2, a point behind Man City.
Man City. Yeah.
But look at us, Man United. Even with our bad start, we're only 6 points behind the top 2, man. Come on.
Yeah, but Man U, if they're not careful, they might drop out of top 10.
Nah. If everything starts to click, we'll be in the top 4. Tottenham will drop out of that top 4.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Okay, just to touch on the top 10, we have Man City, 28 points. Liverpool has 27. Arsenal is sitting on third, 27 points as well. I think the biggest difference there is the goal difference. 17 goes to Liverpool against 16 for Arsenal. So anything can change that. Tottenham is now on 4th, 26 points. Aston Villa 12. Games 25 points. Man United sitting on number 6 with 21 points. Newcastle is number 7.
Who's now on top of Newcastle 20. Now?
I think slowly but surely it's beginning to take form now.
Yes.
Yeah, Brighton sitting on number 8, 19, West Ham 9, 17, and guess who's number 10? Chelsea with 16 points.
Chelelak
coming in there.
But look, why aren't people talking about Brighton? Look at Brighton's last 5 games. Brighton hasn't won a game in the last 5 games. No one is talking about it. They were this De Zerbi, this new young coach. But look at his team struggling. Look at Newcastle, 2 wins in the last 5 games. Come on, man.
Well, yeah, it could be a case of they try to bite off what they couldn't chew. So now
it's the case of you people on social media and the bigger media, news corporations, forever in our minds. Man United lives rent free. If Man United win 5 games like this, man, all the articles which will be coming out, man.
I think every time people see some of these smaller teams doing good in the first stages of the Premier League, they always think of Leicester. What year was that? 2015 team, yeah. Because we all didn't think that would happen, but to the surprise, they pulled through the rest of the season winning ways, and they finally took that. So I think maybe that's what people always look at and say, maybe this could be the team. But unfortunately for Brighton and Newcastle, they are slowly sliding down that log. Yeah. One issue we forgot to talk about, gentlemen, was the Ballon d'Or, which now happened about 2 weeks ago. But I feel maybe we'll just touch on that and your sentiments.
That thing is just, whoever's got the biggest social media following wins, man. Messi didn't even deserve to win that thing, man.
You think so?
Come on. What did he do?
Who deserved World Cup?
Come on. Erling Haaland deserved that, man. Okay, if you want to include the World Cup, okay, then Julian Alvarez should have won the Ballon d'Or.
You know what I think?
No, but can I give you? Julian Alvarez won the World Cup. He won the treble. So he should have won the Ballon d'Or, isn't it? If we're using that.
What numbers did he end up being?
He wasn't even in the top 5.
Yeah.
He did?
Yeah.
You see
it's all about who you are. Eh?
It's all about who you are. So for me, I don't follow that, but I used to follow it. But after this one, or even the last one when Cristiano won. Anyway, I'll leave it to you. I know you're a Messi defender.
He won the one in 2017.
Yeah.
Cristiano hasn't won since 2017?
Now, since then it was, I think, Lionel Messi 2019, 21, and now. Benzema was last year.
Yeah.
The year before was Lionel Messi again.
I hear he did he even go to the Ballon
So since 2015, Messi had about 4
Ballon d'Ors.
Yeah.
Look, I think it's okay for him to win it. He hasn't really done much.
I can
but
see
I think
Captain P is
he doesn't agree. He doesn't agree.
Because you're a Messi sycophant, so
yeah, I'm Messi, bro.
You're a Messi. It's like my other mate. People who support Messi, they will never listen to any other argument.
I think you mean the people who support Ronaldo more.
It's okay. Go ahead with your point. Sorry to interrupt.
Because I think coming from just how many times he's just tried to be in the position that he has been in. Winning the World Cup and all that. I think that World Cup match, that World Cup was a very spirited World Cup, and I think just to top it off, he had to take the Ballon d'Or. Haaland definitely this year, or next year, Haaland deserves to take it because this year that's when he did the most. The 22-23 was it the 22-23?
Mm-hmm.
Coming into this year is the one that he scored all those crazy goals.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, next year definitely we could look at Haaland if he can replicate what he's doing. But Kylian Mbappe, I don't really know what he's doing now. I haven't been watching a lot of that. It seems like, their matches have just become quieter after Messi left, after Neymar left. And not a lot of people are talking.
No, and they're actually third because right now Monaco is number 1, and Nice is number 2.
Second.
Like you see, this football calendar year or football starts is actually crazy. Do you know who's leading La Liga right now? Girona.
Oh, that's unexpected.
So, I'm just saying that this is gonna be a weird year in football because Girona, which is part of the City Group, Man City Group, they are leading the league.
Wow, that's interesting.
And the Premier League, Man City is taking on top. Storm.
Yep. And then obviously in Italy, you've got Inter Milan, which is back. So, and Juve.
Is Inter? Well, okay, no. I was about to mix up things here.
Not Inter Milan. You want to talk about? I said Inter Milan wants to talk about Inter Miami because of Messi. You see how he loves this Messi.
No. I wanted to talk about this guy. What's his name? Number 90. What's his name? The guy who left. What's his name, man? This former Chelsea guy.
Who, Giroud?
No. My goodness, I'm forgetting. This big guy, the big black guy, Lukaku. I hear he's also doing a lot of good things in Roma.
Yeah, he's playing well in Roma, but Mourinho's style of football is now it's shit football, bro. You still can't play Mourinho's type of football. Yeah, but we'll see how it goes.
But what do we say about someone like him? He failed in Man United. He failed.
At Tottenham.
I
think there are some people who are a bit arrogant where they don't want to reinvent themselves. Why Ferguson lasted a bit longer is that he reinvented himself. He played the 4-4-2, then he saw that the 4-4-2 doesn't work. He moved to the 4-3-3, then he moved to your Rooney, Tevez, Ronaldo, where it's interchangeable, fluid. You sacrifice a player like Rooney to be on the left so that Ronaldo shines. He always evolved the team. Someone like Mourinho, man, He still believes in having a striker like Didier Drogba. Come on. Football has changed, man. The striker who holds it up with his big chest and holds up two defenders and lays it off to a Frank Lampard. No one is playing that football anymore, man.
Yeah, but are we supposed to be playing a certain type of football, or are we supposed to be winning?
But you have to, because remember, what can I say? Science, diet, nutrition gets better. So when people like Drogba were stronger than the defenders, you've got quicker and bigger defenders like your Van Dijks. Do you think Drogba will do that to Van Dijk?
Nah, he'll cut him off real quick.
Now, so you see how things improve.
Like we say, I don't check it or move.
You see,
cut him off in the soil.
Drogba used to bully defenders, right? With his physicality. Obviously, he had a beautiful touch, crosses in, but football has to evolve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll touch a lot more on such issues. But just before we move on to the next topic, I just found some interesting stats on Harry Kane in the Bundesliga. 17 goals in 11 matches. Man, no one is talking about that.
We know who runs the media narrative. It's the British media.
Yeah.
So they always prop up their Premier League. But Harry Kane, man, that's a signing for Man United. We should have gone for him. You need someone who knows how to score.
Yeah. But isn't he more a traditional number 9? When you just now you're talking about how football has changed. Yeah, but he still is playing that number 9 position.
Yes, he can play the traditional number 9, but he can drop deep. He can spring a pass. Remember when Son was scoring all those wonderful goals coming in from the left, it was Kane passing them. Yes, it made Tottenham slower, but you know that Kane can drop in. He can play as a number 10, right? Yeah. So let's say if you want to chase a goal, you can have a 2-striker formation. Mm-hmm. Kane drops deeper. He becomes like your number 10 because he can pass it. He can pop into the box. He can score a header. He can dribble. He can, so, Man United, we missed the boat there. That Rasmus Holland guy, he's good, but Harry Kane should have gone, man. Did you see his goal from the halfway line?
Yeah. He's doing things, huh?
Yeah, man, he's doing good things there.
All right. Every week, guys, we have we talk about the football news, sport news rather, but mostly it's about football. So yeah, always make a date with us every week. Amagentz podcast show. As we move on, I don't know what you guys want to talk about first. Should we dig into the Israel conflict a little bit and then maybe go into another topic?
Joe is already. You are saving his voice for this Israel thing.
For this Israel thing.
He didn't want to talk because look at him now. He's got his palms already after listening to the ABC the whole day.
Yeah. So palms are sweating from typing and searching on the Israel conflict, Israel-Palestine. Yeah, so at this stage, because of the current media blackout in Gaza, because there is not much that's coming out of Gaza, except what the big media is bringing out, because of the lack thereof of internet services. So you find it's very difficult. We are just in the dark. And we are depending on some of the information that we are seeing is already stale because it's not live information. Yes. People taking with their videos and sending whenever they have, hotspotting and things like that. But it's a pitiful situation that we are seeing in Gaza there.
Yeah, so generally the information about the actual conflict itself, as like you're saying, has been coming out dribs and drabs, and there's not much change in information that's not coming out. Like you're saying, the the media is being controlled to let out a certain narrative. Well, apparently, or it seems that way. But as I was going through one of these posts, I think it was on TikTok or something, I was just scrolling through. I came across a video that was saying that the real reason behind. Remember last week we were talking about the week before we were talking about how that war, Netanyahu had apparently told his soldiers to stand back. So it's almost like Hamas played into what Israel wanted them to actually do, attack first, and then they have the upper hand to then clear them out. So apparently, the real reason why they want to do that is because they want to build their own canal. Now, if you know politics, geopolitics, you'd understand that between the continents of Asia, if we're looking at the map, if we're looking more to the west, the only way you can come through from the west going to the fastest way is going through the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal is owned by Egypt. Egypt, we all know they're Muslims. So they control the Suez Canal as a country. So this is the most important canal that you could, in fact, passing that you use coming from the west. Of course, we do have the Panama Canal, which is in South America, which also maybe one day we'll touch about that as well. But yeah, this canal is owned by Egypt, and apparently the Americans and the Israelis are not happy. A lot has also happened. A few years ago, that ship that was grounded and it blocked a lot of ships. The Suez Canal is quite shallow.
It's narrow as well.
It only allows so it only allows ships going in one direction. So it's apparently 6 hours ships from one direction going this way, and 6 hours ships going in this direction. So it obviously holds a lot of business. And that being said, Egypt is the one that's making most of the money. So apparently there's now a plan that they want to cut across. Fortunately, I don't really know the names of the places, but apparently Israel has an opportunity to cut across and form their own canal. And guess where that canal touches the sea on the other end of the ocean? Right,
Gaza.
Right where Gaza is.
Yes.
Because what they want to do, they want to use the Gulf of Arabia.
Yeah.
From the apparent information, which is saying that if you look even close on the map, from the Gulf of Arabia, it's right on the bottom corner of Israel.
Yeah.
And the Gaza Strip is right at the top.
Exactly.
So if they are able to build their own canal through there, it'll save a lot of, issues through that shipping route. Because the Suez Canal and the Gulf of Arabia, they meet at that corner. There's a corner which they meet where it becomes the Suez, and then it becomes the Gulf of Arabia.
Exactly.
And then the Gulf of Arabia has got, Saudi Arabia and Jordan. So again, with allegedly, some of the backing why Israel is going a full hog is because Saudi Arabia is allowing it.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia has been quiet.
Oh, yeah. I found that very interesting. It makes a lot of sense. Because obviously if they left Gaza where it is, it would mean for them to succeed in getting that channel, or whatever you might call it, across, they would need to engage with Hamas. And we all know they're not willing to do that for anything. They would want to own that land, because obviously these are billions of dollars that they're looking to make, trillions rather, that they're going to make here. So I just found that to be to be quite interesting. So the canal, they're saying it's going to be named after Ben Gurion. It's called the Ben Gurion Canal. It's being named after the founding father of Israel, the first prime minister of Israel. So yeah, some interesting facts there coming out. It's going to cost about $55 billion or more. So yeah, interesting facts.
Yeah, look, as I said, with this war, there's a lot of hidden unknowns, which we which we don't know because, as I said, yes, we know, with any plot, no one knows when someone is plotting against you. So we can never say that, Israel had all the intelligence. They might have had intelligence that it's going to happen the following weekend, not that weekend. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think the reaction is a bit disproportionate based on what occurred. What Hamas did was, it was uncalled for and can never be justified. Yeah. But however, this collective punishment now, which is happening to the people of Gaza or the Palestinians, I think it's something which just needs to be addressed and called out for what it is. Yes, some, of the biblical faith or Christian faith or whatever religion who you are, who you believe, whatever the end times or whatever you believe in, may say it can be justified. It's part of the written or it needs to happen for the fulfillment. But I think,
But we can't rewrite. We can't write history ourselves.
Yes,
it has to happen naturally, not us instigating that to happen.
Yes. Yeah. And so I think obviously, we always know we from the information being shared, human shields are being used by Hamas. Again, that needs to be called out.
Yes.
Yeah, but
there's a lot of wrongs that are happening on
there's
both
a lot
sides.
of wrongs, but I think, speaking to another colleague who justifies that the IDF can do a more surgical operation. I don't think when you're entering some places like Gaza, there's ability for being surgical because they're all over the place, hiding behind innocent humans. So how can you be surgical?
It's come out that they know where the tunnels are. They've actually brought out a map of the tunnels. So, look, man, the way Israel is technologically advanced, it's probably the most technologically advanced country in that area, or if not in the world itself. They have ways. They know where those tunnels are.
Yeah,
that's my thinking.
Yeah, one of the best military intelligence in the world.
Exactly.
And you tell me they cannot, execute a surgical intervention into the tunnels of Hamas.
They know.
They have the capacity and the capability to do it, but taking on to what Tinas was talking about, that there is a hidden agenda behind the execution of what they are doing at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's uncalled for, And these little kids, they haven't wronged anyone.
No.
Those old people, those, innocent civilians, on both sides, not to say we do not condone Hamas, what they've done. And on the flip side, we do not condone what the IDF is doing.
Yeah.
Because it's all wrong. No wrong can right another wrong.
Yeah, there's definitely it feels like it was a well thought after plan. Yeah. And unfortunately, Hamas were not well prepared for what would come after what they did.
Yeah,
which again is also unfair for their people, because if you go and slap Captain P, and I don't have a plan to what is going to come after me.
Yes,
that's a poor decision on my part. You know what I'm saying?
Like what happened. I think there was a war historian. I saw it briefly on YouTube when he was talking to say Hamas did not calculate. They were looking back at the Yom Kippur War, like looking at the first 3 days of Israel's response, but they did not look at the 15 days after.
Yeah.
When the Yom Kippur happened, where Israel really went full on.
Yeah.
So they just thought that, the international outcry will stop Netanyahu, because I think he knows this is his last hurrah as a prime minister, and he's going full throttle.
Yeah.
I don't think whether he succeeds to finish the term or they dismiss him, I don't think he will ever come back to be prime minister. So he's going gung-ho. So they did not really calculate that. They were calculating that US is going to intervene and, everything is going to stop. But you have to remember the establishment, which is in the US now, needs to recover after 4 years of not making money from wars.
Yeah,
because Donald Trump wasn't there. Donald Trump.
I was also seeing some videos where some of the people that are being captured there, apparently the Americans that are fighting that war. And then another interesting thing that again, after, you start going down a rabbit hole when you start going into these issues. And so apparently, most of the people that are sitting in the US Senate, that are sitting in places of power, basically, the Federal Reserve, all these places that have got the key parts of the US economy, they all have dual citizenship with Israel. I found that to be quite interesting.
Wow.
Yes, I found that to be quite. I think, unfortunately, I have the video. I'll share with you guys. But I found that to be quite interesting. That you sit in influential places of a country, but you have dual citizenship. So your loyalty can easily be fledged to another country.
Like you saw, I was talking to another colleague about the response. I think there were those uni students who supported Hamas, and some big CEO said that we won't be employing these students who've signed, and other big businesses should sign that. Why didn't that happen to all those people who are against the Black Lives Matter rally?
Exactly.
Right? There were people who wrote articles, who went on the news to be against BLM, but there were no threats of them not getting jobs. Right? We can go down this rabbit hole of what ifs and what ifs. At the end of the matter, what the IDF is doing is an uncalled for response.
Yeah. So what about the ceasefire issue?
Oh, but he
doesn't want a ceasefire.
Netanyahu is not even entertaining that. He said flat out, no, that's not going to happen. So he definitely wants to leave a dent in the history of Israel and Palestine, and the history of the world as well.
So how do we differentiate that from a calculated ethnic cleansing?
No, you can't, because if there's the most powerful people in the world are supporting him, so you can't draw that line.
Yeah, sad.
Yeah,
really sad. And a lot of people all over the world who have got little to no political influence are on the streets. People have spoken.
Nobody's listening to people. Nah, nobody's listening to that. It feels like it's something that has been talked about, and it's something that is going to be done, and it has to be done. I was who is this guy? Man. I'm always saying, when you start going down watching some of these videos, it's almost like you go down a rabbit hole and you end up just getting to, there's one of these guys, US, I think is is this a Secretary of State or is somebody to do with foreign policy in the government?
Who? Blinken?
I don't know his name. I just saw the video. So they showed him two parts. And he was, when he came out talking about, when they started talking about the Ukraine war, and he was acting as though he wants to cry. He's saying, "Oh no, what the Russia is doing."
Yeah, that's Anthony Blinken.
That's him, right? And then this guy was crying, and he wants to. Oh my God! And then they saw the second clip now, when he's now talking about the Israel war, and his demeanor is changed, and he's talking about things have got to be done, and the war is a war, and I'm just like, really?
Yeah. So
these are the people that you're dealing with.
So that's what I think Captain P was talking about, selective outrage and selective empathy, where, they empathized and sympathized with the Ukraine. But when it comes to Gaza, their stance completely changed because they feel and think it's justified for the same civilians that they are crying for in Ukraine to be massacred in Gaza.
Yeah, which goes back to what I was saying. It feels like it was something that was spoken about and it was agreed on, plan of action. So they're never going to back down. They're going to see it through, regardless of how many lives or how many, what's destroyed, or they're going to see it through.
So do you think Hamas was part of the plan? Because it has been funded by Israel before, and it's been funded by US, so they could be in on it.
Okay, so what they did was they created Hamas, or they helped create Hamas, so that they could counter what's his name, Yasser Arafat, with the Fatah movement, whatever, PLO and Fatah. So they wanted a counter against those people. And that they were funded by the Israelis. So again, it almost feels like everything was set in motion at some point. These are just
that's why they are
blocks that are being put on top of each other.
That's why they are called the 3-letter agencies.
Yeah. Alphabet boys.
There is another one in regards to the DNA that we were talking about in pre-production. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, there were some people who were questioning who the people who claim to be Israeli. They're questioning who they were. Are they really Israel? The people who descended from the Israelites in the Bible? And when we speak about biblical history or what have you, apparently these people do not have a claim, or it seems they were at some point in history, because like Captain P was saying a few weeks ago, at some point the whole of that area, Israel and Palestine, was taken over by the Turks, what you call it? The Ottoman Empire, exactly. So at some point, those people were all displaced at some point, and apparently they went all over the world, and they became assimilated in other cultures and what have you. So they lost all of that Israelite, if I should say, blood and what have you, because there was a lot of intermarriages and mixing and this and that. So the people that then came out claiming to be Israelites were people that were white people, but of white original people. I don't know how best I could Caucasian
of European descent.
Word. Yes, Caucasian of European descent, who then started calling themselves, I'm forgetting the name he used, but they're the ones who then, during Hitler, were targeted, and they were calling themselves the Jews. So after the Hitler World War I, rather, then people then decided to say, okay, let's settle these people here. So they're using history to their advantage. But originally, these people are not. It was just a video that was saying that, and
ideally the genetic test or DNA test might expose that they are not actual Jews.
Well, if someone can claim to tell what's in your blood, whether you're 19% Chinese, 28% white, and this and that, then they should be able to tell. They have markers that can prove who you really are, and so they should be able to tell who you are.
Yeah. All right. So upon digging, when we were talking about it, I came across an article that was talking about the DNA being banned in Israel in 2000 when they passed a law. It's called the Genetic Information Law.
Ooh.
Yeah, which was passed. So, if you go through the, internet rabbit hole, you will find information.
Yes.
So the Genetic Information Law 5761 of 2000, which was passed to regulate conducting of genetic testing and provision of genetic counseling, and to protect the right to privacy. So, and then if you go around in Twitter, in 2000, the Israeli government passed the genetic law, which makes it effectively illegal to use the DNA genetic testing kit in Israel.
I wonder why.
And then people are asking, why are they afraid of these results?
Yeah. It seems interesting, yeah?
Yeah. I can see Captain P smiling there.
Yeah.
No, I'm reading the article. Yeah, so look, needing a court order to have your own genetics to find out who you are.
Yes.
I think that's a bit more, you can call that type of a Soviet type or Soviet era type of law.
Draconian.
It's very draconian. And looking at it, again, it's all about a rabbit hole. We can continue going down deeper into the rabbit hole because, as the other articles are saying, there is a dispute of who's the original Jew. Yeah. Who's got the actual birthright. The Zionists will shout high hell and high water to say they've got the rights to the land. But we can say some of the Palestinians have actually got more Jewish blood in them. And they've got the full
most of these. Yeah.
And because that's the issue for there's a section of Black Jews, like from Ethiopia and from Egypt and other African countries.
Apparently, there are actually Jews who not only come from these places you've mentioned, but I was also seeing a video of a guy from Nigeria who I think is an Igbo.
It's an Igbo tribe, yes.
Who was actually saying this, that the Igbo are also part of the Jews that came from that area of
Middle East. Yes.
I was just like, wow.
Yes. So if they do the genetic testing, there is a genetic trail. Those people are very much related.
It's just like what people never want to agree, that the Pharaoh or whoever, the Ramses, who kept the Israelis hostage or under slavery, were actually blacks. If you go back into the archaeological history, they're full-blooded blacks. Egypt was only assimilated as part of that emigration from the north, which is part of that Ottoman Empire, and people emigrated down and they overtook those type of lands. So there's a lot of fudging of history, rewriting of history books, even rewriting of some of these Bibles you read. They have multiple versions. So that's why someone says, go and get the Aramaic version or the Latin version, if you can read it and translate it. It's better than reading.
It's better than reading this Bible.
Some of these ones which are
that's very true, Captain P, because a lot of things, they get lost in translation.
Yeah, and it's his story. It's who's telling the story. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, someone is always going to have a bias over why they're doing what they're doing.
Yep.
So if somebody's going to sit down and write a life of Captain P, there's already a bias into why he wants to write that story, and the storyline is always going to fit what bias he has. So, if it's a white person sitting down to write history, he's obviously doesn't want people to think or to know that black people were that advanced, because a lot of these technological advances happened at a time when people in Europe were walking in mud and living with rats, and they were being plagued by the Black Plague and all these things, whilst some of these African countries had the technology that they later
the technology about the wealth. There's this African gentleman who was so wealthy that he went through to Egypt, and he taught people how to do the trade, and the Egyptians got out of poverty.
Musa.
Yes, Musa.
Yes. I'm forgetting the name of what they call these black people who are claimed to have taught modern medicine. What it is, they went up to Rome and all these places. I'm forgetting what they call these black people. But apparently, yeah, medicine in itself, things like the nervous system and things like this, those were things that white people were taught by black people. That the person actually looks like this. Even issues of paving of roads and things like this, apparently, yeah, they were taught by the Moors. They call the Moors. Yes. Actually, let me touch on that. The Moors.
I think so. You see the dynamic, coming back to that discussion we're having about the Palestinians and the Jews. Yeah. There's a lot of rewriting of history where people need to be careful about just picking one side rather than having a objective view of the discussion. You can pound your feet and, be all religious and say it's by faith, this is their what. But you have to know that in these relationships, there were some births of grandchildren or grandfathers. Some were birthed from unorthodox relationships. They were not married. Some of them were their concubines of foreign countries. We can go back to Abraham, Haggai. Some say she was a voluptuous, big booty black woman. If you hear some of the Zionist black Jews preaching, if you hear some of the black Jews preaching, there's a lot of things where you have to be objective.
Yes.
And go through that history, because there's many relationships which have come from cross relationships during the Jewish history, or you can call it the Arabic history, where they've cross-pollinated.
Yeah.
Yes, that's where we're coming in to say these people are fighting their cousins.
So it says, the Moors ruled parts of Andalusia in the early 8th until the 15th centuries. 800 years of history. They have 800 years of history that you don't hear about unless somebody, or you hear someone specific.
It's just like that the Musa guy. No one really talks about him.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he came all the way from Mali. He was the king of Mali. The ruler of Mali. So Africa was once called Mali anyway. So he was the ruler of Mali. He was carrying gold and chariots of gold.
Yeah, Mansa Musa, yeah.
Yeah. And then he came all the way. He was going to the Mecca when he came through Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was going to the Mecca, and then that dude was rich.
Apparently, is he the guy who would give people gold everywhere he went? Like he would just leave people gold. Like,
and
they said they collapsed the economies of
all the countries he went.
Yeah.
Because he took people out of debt and poverty.
Yes.
That's what they don't want. They want people
now it's making sense. So if you get people out of debt, here in Australia it collapses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they don't need your money anymore.
That's what sustains the banking system.
Yeah.
It's all the debt and
All fugazi.
yeah.
A very good example is when you look at a mortgage.
Yeah.
A $500,000 loan could end up becoming a $700,000 interest on that $500,000. So I was listening to a podcast they were saying the money is not there. The money they give you is not there, but it is created the moment you sign. They automatically create money when you sign for that mortgage. Exactly. So I found that to be quite interesting.
So there's a lot of things which just come up with this. It's just a system, a few algorithms, a few ticks here. Like it's just like with the last interest rate. Someone already knows that now they have to earn an extra 30,000.
Yeah.
And that's for where are you gonna earn that?
Where are you gonna earn? This is for a house which is 750,000. Who bought a house for that? Or if you bought a house for 500,000 or 400,000, you need at least an extra 15,000. Which organization has raised people's salary 15,000?
By that much? Yeah. It's all a scam, eh?
It is.
Interesting.
I love these discussions where we end up poking other things, talking about money. But we need to come back and talk about this Mansa Musa guy.
Yeah.
And his history.
I think maybe we just need to touch on Black history as a large. I think that's just the influences of the Black history, because it doesn't only touch on Europe and what have you. It even touches the Americas. I mean, from the Incas all the way up to slavery and all these things. So I think we need to diarize and then maybe touch on Black history. Yeah. I don't know. Where are we with our time? Are we good? Still good for another topic, or maybe we
can just brush a small topic as we close out.
Yeah. I think
I can see Captain P smiling because he knows the topic that's coming up is explosive. It's sensitive. It's very controversial.
Yeah. Go ahead, my man. Go ahead. Let's talk.
No, I'm laughing at you. The last time we were talking, you were really deep on it. So I want you to continue from the part where you're like, my mates are now laughing here. So just continue from that.
You guys started laughing. So man, life. I really wonder, how we as men have just allowed certain things to go on. I really wonder. But anyway, yeah. I mean, you guys are free to.
I can answer to that.
Let me tell you one thing. Men have been emasculated. Let's just go straight to the point.
Don't take my points, man.
Men have been emasculated, and then I know it might be a controversial statement, which I might say, but I actually respect successful men who are actual bachelors.
Yes,
because your life is actually way better off.
Yeah,
in mental health terms,
peaceful, yeah,
and financial terms. Because me and as a bloke, I can get my own executive 1-bed apartment, have my one car, go on holidays whenever I want. I just pack my 7 kg bag. I just, do whatever I want. If I want to just have a piece of steak with veggies, I can do that. But there's all those other factors now where you're now thinking of the other party and it sets you back. So it may be controversial, but I think the institution of marriage has derailed and hurt a lot of men in society, particularly the modern day institution.
So when you say modern day institution, I might try and elaborate that to see if I'm understanding what you mean. Do you mean the existing government policies and regulations that emasculate men
Yes.
to the extent that there is a little bit more favoritism to the opposite gender.
I don't think it's a little bit more, but it's actually a lot more.
It's a lot
Go
more.
ahead,
I wanted to be polite. So, in essence, you find that women have been empowered to emasculate men however they want because the system sizes them. Their new default or de facto husband is the government system because they know if they mess up with you, the government will give them child support, and here they will be given like Centrelink.
Yeah.
So they can survive without you. You as a man, traditionally, you are the breadwinner. You are there to hunt and bring sustenance in the home. But no, now they no longer need you. And now they are educated, they go to work, they can be self-sufficient.
Okay, but let's stop there. There's nothing wrong as a father of girl child.
Yeah.
Education, emancipation, learning for themselves, 100%.
Yeah.
But that lack of respect or that lack of, remember, there's many facets of relationships, right? And we're not saying that impose your will or do as I say or do thy will or whatever, but there needs to be that element of respect, right? Where that has gone out now.
Yes.
Respect which is mutual.
Coming back to that issue, you find that I will need to find the statistics on this, that the more educated a woman is, the more prevalent it is for them to be divorced, single, or unmarried at all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If we can find those statistics, that would be fantastic. Because what that does, the more exposure outside the normal traditional system that we had prior to these women empowerment and equal rights acts and whatever, families thrived because roles were not blurred. You see, biblically, if anyone believes in the Bible, it says in Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 19, it's better to live in the wilderness than to live with a contentious and irritable woman. And then I'm going to
that doesn't need to be biblical, man. That's just common sense.
It's not biblical. It is biblical. I just wanted to find a point of reference, right?
Yeah.
Is so in saying that men they don't have the resilience and the capacity to withstand ongoing irritation, emasculation, and annoyance. Mentally, men are not that resilient. They can be resilient physically, but emotionally and mentally, men are weaker than women. So even if you go into any argument under the sun with a woman, no matter how many points of IQ you are above the woman, she will defeat you.
But I have a question though. Yeah. Why is it that us as humans want to eradicate hierarchy, and yet everywhere else you look, there is hierarchy?
It is a 3-letter agents project that started a while back.
It's it's very political, isn't it?
Yes, with the introduction of feminism. The introduction of feminism was designed to destroy the
family
core
unit.
nuclear family. Once you destroy the nuclear family, it's easier to control people. Because if there is no proper nuclear family, the kids are growing. You remember what we were talking about on our last podcast about absent fathers and and toxic mothers. You find that it emanates all from the nuclear family no longer being, recommended or encouraged or taught about because of the highly feminized, highly environment. So at the end of the day, our society has been weakened completely because the backbone is taken off, which is the family is the backbone.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we are very easy to control. I've been listening to this conspiracy theorist, David Icke.
Mm-hmm.
Is that his name? David Icke?
Yeah, David Icke.
Yeah, he alludes to some of those things being, CIA projects. I don't have any facts to that, but sometimes you gotta believe that there is a shred of truth in that. If you see where the world is going at the moment, is it? Because
look to cut it simple, they argue for equality on points that they want. Right? Equality is not across the board. I think you gentlemen, I'll speak in layman terms. Equality is up to the point of their back pocket or their wallet. Apart from their wallet, there's no equality.
I was a little while ago. I was seeing a podcast for women that was speaking about this issue of equality and what is equality. They were asking, and this woman was saying, "Oh, we want jobs. We want to be in parliament. We want to be this. We want to be managers or CEOs. We want to be." And she was talking about all these wonderful positions. Yeah.
Why don't you want equality as a bricklayer?
Exactly. And then the host of that show then asked her, "Okay, so if you want equality, does it mean only getting these things, or can you also, be a garbage person? Can you also be a sewer person? Can you also be, a plumber at this, at this?" Or the expression on the face has changed, and she's like, "No, but we need to start from the top. We need to start from the top." So like you're saying, the idea of equality only suits the conversation if it's in certain places.
Yes,
it's not across the board, because even at work you'll find a woman is treated slightly better than what a man would be treated as. Where you are asked to lift heavy things, a woman will be asked to push the trolley. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that I don't know how best we can address or how best they can be spoken about, but these are things that we all see.
Yep.
And I really wonder where the man is when all of this is happening, and how we have not had, a voice.
Unfortunately, you can't do much unless if you are within where the policies are being made. Because this whole thing has been decided and it's integrated into the policies that govern the places.
Yeah, but women do marches. Women do this. I've never seen men marching for.
But you remember there was a big men's march. I think, was it in the 80s or early 90s? But it was all tripped up because they called, what's his name? That minister, Louis Farrakhan.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And they diverted it to make it they've called this Louis Farrakhan guy. You look at this men's rally.
So it became more about Farrakhan than
it became more about Farrakhan, not about the actual message.
The actual rally. And they now talk about it being a religiously motivated with this Islamic nation thing.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's where the issue ended up becoming about what? Louis Farrakhan.
Interesting. All right, I think, gentlemen, we have exhausted the few for topics. This topic, I think, we still need to touch about, because it seems like it has a lot of facets that we can always touch on. So I think maybe in the next episode or two, we can actually just get into it and then maybe expand more on the divorce side of things. Divorce a woman's paradise. Maybe we can touch on that topic in the next weeks or maybe week or two. And see how it goes. But for now, thank you very much, gentlemen. I think we can close the show.
Thank you,
Thank you
Amagentz.
very much for this week. Hope to see you guys next week. And guys, stay tuned. Remember to follow us, Amagentz Podcast, on Twitter. We are there. We are there on Instagram and on YouTube. Feel free to comment. Give us if you have any topics that you feel we can talk about. Feel free to suggest. And also, thank you very much, gentlemen. Have a wonderful week ahead of you, and see you guys next week.
Thank you.